Welcome to Beyond Common Sense. Hope you're having a great day, great week. It's been kind of a crazy couple weeks here at our home. Things are changing constantly. All these new normals we're trying to get used to. It gives me great fodder for podcasts and posts. You know, a lot of times podcasts will have commercials. That comes from sponsors. I don't have any sponsors. I am really a lone horse in this whole adventure of podcasting and posting and writing. I do get some help from some proofers. So anyway, I just thought I would start this podcast with just a little information about my books. I don't know if you've ever read any of them. If you really want to see something amazing, you can always Google Wanda McAvoy. That takes you everywhere. It was a bit startling to see how many different sites came up, different places, even thrift books, where you can get my books. Of course, they're going to be secondhand, but that's okay. As I've said before, if you really want to support my mission here, you could always put a few likes. I'm trying to branch out a little bit. It's a slow process. But my task that is on the forefront of what I'm doing is fixing the corrections that my proofreader gave me for Cleft Rock. I'm over halfway through that, excited about that, and hope to get that up and running. Now see, if I was publishing it, you know, I'd have all these other helpers, and I'm not against that. It's just really just a time factor in this point in my life. But you know, there'd be a great launching date and all these wonderful, exciting things. Well, hey, I just hope I can get it up and make it available to you. So I will keep you posted on that. It is the sequel to Spirit Rock. If you haven't read my most recent book, Spirit Rock, if you are a historical Christian fiction lover, you would enjoy that book. It is based on the Native Americans in Pennsylvania back in the 1700s. Lots of history in there. Fascinating book. When you piece all the pieces of history together, you get Spirit Rock, following the Indians as they left this area in the mid to late 1700s. Of course, that takes you through the French and Indian War and into the Revolutionary War and all the way to Gnatahooten, which is in Ohio. Tells you about Ohio country. Where did these Native Americans go? Anyway, I really enjoyed writing that, and it really gave me an appreciation for that part of our history. So much so that I put the books into a volume and labeled them Pennsylvania's Legacy. So, that was a commercial. This podcast, Love Conquers All. Really? This is really from a post that I thought deserved a little more traction because it was a blessing to my heart, and I needed to do this study. I hope you know that most of these podcasts are, as I said, lessons learned while walking with Jesus. Some of them have been hard to learn. Some of them I'm still learning. Some of them I'll learn until the day I breathe my last. Here it is. Love conquers all. Follow your heart. All you need is love. I might be dating myself on that last one. Are these true statements? Does love conquer all? Should we follow our hearts? Is it really all we need? Love? Well, you probably already know where I'm going, so let's just cut to the chase. Love never fails. That's what 1 Corinthians 13:8 says. Love never fails. If you know your Greek, that word is agape. We hear that a lot in Christian circles. Agape love is the love that God has for us. That love never fails. Okay. Adam Clark, a commentator, says this. This love never falls off. I like the way he put that. But bears, believes, hopes, endures all things. And while it does so, it cannot fail. It is the means of preserving all other graces. Indeed, properly speaking, it includes them all. And all receive their perfection from love. love to God and love to man can never be dispensed with. It is essential to social and religious life. Without it, no communication can be kept with God, nor can any man have a preparation for eternal glory whose heart and soul are not deeply imbued with it. Spurgeon, as only he can say, says, "It is the unwithering flower." If you've been married for more than 10 minutes, you probably experienced times when you felt love had failed, either yours or your spouse. This may also be true in unmarried relationships, but marriage ups the ante. It signals a deeper commitment, or it should, and therefore makes it all the more damaging when love fails. So, are you a loser if you are not bearing all things, believing all things, enduring all things, hoping all things? Well, if so, then I'm a loser. I lost because I depended on my phileo, or brotherly love. We all love someone, even if it's only ourselves, but that love will not be enough to get us past the angry words, mean spirit, disappointments, frustrations, and doubts. The only love that can never fail is God's love. God is love. That's 1 John 4:8. And that love takes over when ours fails. It's like having an extra gas tank. No matter how much you fill the first one, when it's empty, it's empty. Praise God that you can turn the switch over to the other tank, especially when you're crossing a desert and there's no gas stations for miles. Your only hope is that second tank. I know some of you are saying, but you don't understand. One thing I've learned in the ministry is this: I don't have to understand every situation. I can empathize even when I do not understand. However, I don't have to understand to share God's unbreakable promises. They work every time. So here they are. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8 and 13. Love suffers long, is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up. In other words, there's no room for pride here. Love does not behave rudely. Love does not seek its own. That would be called sacrifice. It is not easily provoked. Love thinks no evil. For your information, that separates the men from the boys. Love does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Now abides faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Well, that's impossible. No one can do that. Now you're learning. WWJD. What would Jesus do? If you find that answer, you are learning agape love. It holds life together better than Gorilla Glue. It patches things up better than duct tape. It smooths things over better than WD-40, the 3 most important items in Mrs. Fix-It's toolbox. It's not easy. It's impossible. That's why we need the Lord. Yes, I know there are marriages out there that survive without the Lord in their lives. Let's just hold on to the Lord and all His promises. He can patch up our ways and help us to get through those rough spots. I hope that's a blessing to you. I really appreciate you stopping on by. If you haven't yet and you'd like to, it would be a blessing to me for you to subscribe. I know everybody says that, or like things. It really is a bit of a game that I really rebel against playing. But if I could share my heart with you, I'm doing this because I want to touch lives. And I would really be thankful to touch more lives. And you could help me do that by simply subscribing to that YouTube channel or following me on Facebook. All of those things help just to get the word out and maybe touch even more lives. Appreciate your support. Thank you for listening, and have a good and godly day.